I don't say nothing, then who gon' do something? If I don't say nothing, then who gon' do something? If I don't say nothing, then who gon' do something? If I don't say nothing.
All this cash on me, got a bag on me.
Can you hear me all right?
You have me. It's recording right now?
Yes. We screen record the whole conversation.
Alright.
How's your day going?
It's alright. It's good. It's good. What's going on with you?
Nothing, man. We have a crazy time difference, so it's 12 a.m. for me. And
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I've been coordinating all the calls.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to keep you up.
Oh, not at all. This is somehow because a lot of my calls were from LA, from New York, from Chicago. So this is how was the ideal time for everyone. And I've just learned to be awake at this hour. So that's what's up. So how'd you find out about Nav?
How did I find out about Nav?
Yeah.
So I found out about Nav by there's this kid in my school. He always was just into the best songs before everybody else. You know Fetty Wap?
Fetty Wap? No, I'm not sure. Fetty Rap?
You know Fetty Wap. You know that song Trap Queen?
Yes. Oh
yeah.
yes.
So he was that guy who would post him in the car listening to that song a month or two before everybody knew that song was popular. So he did it with Trap Queen, and he did it with that song Myself, but by Nav. And this was when that song had maybe 250,000 plays, 300,000 plays. So this is the end of 2015, beginning of 2016-ish. So that's when I first heard about it, and I was like, yo, who is that? And he sent me the link. I was like, yeah, this is Nav. Yeah. It was I've never heard music like that in my life before.
It's true, I think I also figured out in around 2016-17 about Nav because I was watching a lot of vlogs on YouTube and I kept hearing his songs in the background and I did not know who it was. So I would look up the lyrics and Google it. You know how we all try to find songs? And that's how I found out about him. And he's so underrated and his music is just so... it's why I love hip-hop in general is it's so much about storytelling. So even if you don't know the artist, but if you listen to their music, you kind of know them, And he's just so amazing and so relatable. So that's how I've been a super, super big fan of it.
Wow. What's your favorite Nav song?
I think Up did this on my own.
Those are OG.
Yeah. These were the first ones I heard, and since then, even his any collaboration with any artist has been super, super good.
That's what's up.
What's your favorite song of Nav?
My favorite song for Nav, probably the song that I appreciate the most. My favorite's probably Myself, just because it's because the significance of the point in time in my life I heard it. But my favorite's probably The Man. Maybe The Man. I really like The Man.
Right.
It's just the intro, just and how it feels it's after the piano disappears and you just feel the bass. It's crazy.
Yeah. So are you through music, what do you gravitate towards? Is it lyrics or is it the beats or is it the whole thing in general?
For me at this point now, because I'm so deep into it, it takes a lot for me to like a song. And it takes even more for me to like an artist because it's there's so many people saying the same things that sound the same way.
Yeah.
But it's all it really takes for me is just if you can add a new perspective, or if it feels real, the music really feels real, then that's kind of really all it takes for me. Because I'm not particularly picky, but it's you don't have to be sad to sound real to me.
Right.
But I'm trying to think, Fabio Foreign. I don't know if you know him. He has a song Big Drip.
No, I don't think I know.
Well, he's just super true to himself. I respect that. Just him as an artist and the music. I'm not crazy about his music, but I can accept it for what it is just because it's just authentic. That's who he is.
Yeah. That's so interesting you said that. I was just listening to a podcast where they were speaking about how so much in the music industry, people are consuming so much drugs, and, just going down the wrong path. But then they were trying to justify it is that they had great music because they were in so much pain. And I did not necessarily agree with that. For sure, for some people, that's very subjective. But I don't think you necessarily need to be in pain and suffering and have a really, really hard time to be able to produce good music,
Yeah. 100%, I agree, yeah. It's like I remember when Juice WRLD was alive, they were like, "We wish you would just break up with your girlfriend so you can make good music again." Because when you're emotional,
Yeah.
just like how I said, like that authenticity, like
Yeah.
you can't help but bring what you feel inside into your music because it's like that's all you can
Right.
think about.
Right. 100%.
So it makes sense that it kind of translates like that.
Yeah. How cool. What would you say? What are your top 5 artists at the moment?
Top 5 for me is forever Kanye West. Second is probably Nav. Cause hold on, yo, that's my beat. I'm with my friends. They're downstairs.
Okay.
No, but cause I don't listen to that much music, honestly.
Really?
Me, cause like I only try to listen to music that I think is great. So unless music is like present, like I'm just around and hear it,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, I don't care. So I'll say everybody but me, cause I won't add myself to the list, cause I love my music.
That's amazing.
Personally,
You can
Yeah,
add
like-
yourself. You can be the 5th one. You can give me the 4th one.
I want to give a shot at other people. Okay, Michael Jackson's number 1, Kanye West, Nav, Drake, and then this kid Melvani. Yeah, he's like from New York, but he's like I could give that 5th spot to somebody else, but I'll just say him because I just know he's gonna be like a great artist. He's gonna be huge.
What's his name again?
Amazing. Melvani. So Melvoni. But he's tough.
Wow, that's so cool. And do you like any of the up and coming artists? The ones that are super like popping right now, like Roddy Ricch, Lil Baby. No.
I mean, I like them, but they're not.
Top
Those
5.
are artists that I have like a lot of respect for. Like everybody I listed in that
Yeah.
list, I have a lot of respect for, and like it's kind of like deeper than the music, like a little bit deeper than the music for most of them.
What would you say? What would that be? For example, with Kanye.
How his mindset was when he was coming up, how
Yeah.
he was obviously a producer, but he wrote, like he would do poetry, and I remember watching him at a poetry like jam or whatever. I don't think he was as popular. He was definitely like not Kanye West,
Yeah.
So he did the poem was I hadn't heard it before, but then it was a section of it, maybe like the middle part that I had heard, and it was I think from a song called Roses, and it's like my favorite song from him. And he talks about how like his grandma's in the hospital and about how like the nurses are more concerned with his fame and getting his autograph rather than giving his grandma the best health care, and how his family comes together for the betterment of his grandmother's health. And it's like just how he tells the story and seeing him turn it from poetry into a song, and that he produced it and that he like just brought it all together, like that's I have so much respect for that, because it's like so many people want to step on your creative in your creative space and say, oh no, do it like this, oh no, that's not gonna work, people don't like that, you can't do that. But when you go against that and you do what people may not like, and then you make them like it, rather than you do what people like and then they like it, it's like it's just different. It's different. You gotta be special to do something like that.
Yeah, that is truly amazing. And I feel like hip hop now became such a part of the culture, and these people leading left such an impact. It wasn't so much. It is music is a big part, but now it was also so much of like freely be able to express yourself. And not caring about people judging you, and having all your thoughts in your mind in your life into like a product which other people vibe to, like your craft, which you love and you're getting paid for, and then it gives people value. So I feel like that was such a big part of what all these guys created, for sure. What got you started into music?
What got me started? I mean, I grew up around music. Like when I was like 3 or 4 or 5, I think I was like 3, 4. My mom would take me and my brother to piano lessons with this lady, Mrs. Gorman, and I didn't play like that, but like I grew up in church too, so like I was just around music a lot, and my mom's like sings and plays the piano in church, so she still does like to this day. So
your profile says you're an audio engineer, so you just produce music?
So what an audio engineer does is I I mean, I don't really produce like I pull things together. Like I'll be like, okay, I want to make this song, and we're gonna sample this, and I want you to produce it. So like I'll like kind of grab people to do things, and in that way I'll be a producer. But I don't program drums and sounds like that. Like, I have before, but I don't really do it like that. Like that's not my passion. An audio engineer is like when you have the beat, like the drums, the melody, all that stuff, and then you have the vocals, and you make the vocals sound good with the melody and the drums. So I make it like all work.
So you kind of combine the work of a producer and like vocalist.
Yeah. So I'll write it, I'll record it sometimes. Sometimes I'll go to a studio, not often, but sometimes I'll just have my friends record it, and then I'll just sit and mix it and get it done.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
Oh, how cool. So how are you connecting with artists and stuff to be able to, do those projects?
That's the great part about social media. Like, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago. I mean, I went to school with people that did music. Like, in my high school, there were kids that were like, cool and did music. And that was dope. But I didn't really have anything to say. Like, I would sit and try to make music, but I didn't really have anything to say or know how to really go about it. So it got to the point where, like, I just started doing it. Like, I did finally have something to say. Something I wanted to get off my chest. And that was when people kind of started to notice, like, like everybody's first song's like, oh, you make music? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever tried to make music before?
No, I wish.
Wow. Well, if you do, people are going to be like, what? You make music?
Yeah,
well, let me hear your song. Like, they want to hear it.
Yeah.
So one of the first people that, like, was actually supportive was this, like, my main producer. Like my favorite songs, he's, like, one of my closest friends right now.
Yeah.
Like, God bless him. His name's Miles. So he was, like, one of the first people when I was just starting out. Was like, yo, I'm excited to hear the music. Like, keep going. Keep it up.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a reason to say that. He didn't even hear the music really, like. But he just was super dope about it, really supportive. And I remember just reaching out to him and being like, yo, he made beats. I was like, yo, I like your beats. I trust your ear. Like, kind of start sending you some songs. You just give me feedback.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, like, the relationship we have now. And then, I guess organically I just met other people.
That is so cool. I think this is the first time. I did not really know the difference between audio engineering versus, like, production. And that is super interesting. So how did you get into first, like, to decide that you wanted to be in the audio engineering part instead of, like, production or anything else? It's not very common that you hear people saying that,
Yeah, you're the best. You ask good questions. I like it. Well, I was trying to record for a while because, like, like I said, I went to school with people that did it. So sometimes I'd be around them when we would record on, like our phones and stuff like that sometimes. But basically, my friend Bobby, whose house I'm at right now, actually, he was like, I just hit him up. I was like, yo, I really, really want to record, like, can we make it happen? And he was kind of like, I don't know, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it just never happened. But then I really was like, yo, come on, I really, really want to record. Like, I got this, I got that, He was like, all right, word, just meet me here. And so we ended up linking, and, like, I didn't have any software. I didn't know how to do anything. But he just showed me, like, how to record and, like, the really simple stuff, and we would get stuff down, and I'd be like, oh, shoot, like, all right. And then it got to the point where, like, we would meet up, we'd work on something, and then I'd be like, all right, y'all see you later, I gotta go to work. So I'll go to work, I'll play this song, and then I'm like, wait, I play my song, now I play Drake's song. It's like, yo, that's Bobby. Yo, Bobby, yo, get in this, bro. So, it's an interview with Devika. She's dope. Oh, yeah? I'm literally telling a story about how niggas got started with the engineering. This is Bobby. That's my boy.
Hi, Bobby.
Facts. Just a big homie. So basically, we would just, like, we'd be at his crib, and then, like, I'll go and play the song after I leave, and I'll be like, yo, why don't this sound like Drake? Like, Drake sound crispy. I sound crazy. And then it just got to the point where I just be like, okay, I'd look it up. Okay, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And then it just slowly started to learn and figure it out.
How long did it take you to actually, like, learn?
I'm still learning every day. I'm always searching, trying to get better. But, I mean, I think right now I'm at the point where, like, I could record anybody and like it may not be the best sounding ever, but it'll be something that you could at least like pass off. Like somebody could say, "Oh, this sounds good enough to the point where I could listen to it and I could say, okay, I like this artist or not." You know, kind of thing. Like I know how to make something feel good. I would say that.
Wow, that's amazing. I never heard that. That is so interesting. I feel like I like study music so deeply. Whichever artist I like, I would absolutely get into it, because like I said, I really like to know their story, how they started, whether it was Nav and all. And it's the first time I feel like your work is so important, but a lot of times it gets overlooked because you're just about like, this was the producer, this was the artist, but no one really speaks about like, actually combining everything and getting it out there, which plays such a big, like you said, it feels good, which is such a dope thing. Wow, that's so cool. So you have a lot of your music on Instagram?
I post some of it. I try not to post too much, honestly, just because like I do a lot. Like pretty much every day, if I'm not working on music, I'm thinking about music and listening to great music and just figuring out, okay, how can I make you, the listener, feel the way I feel when I hear like Nav or Kanye or Drake. Like that's the stuff that I listen for. I don't care to emulate anybody in particular, but it's just if I can make you feel the way that I feel when I hear Kanye West, then like I've 100% done my job. Like, because I make like I'd like to say I make music that I want you to feel like it does not make you sad, but like I want you to feel the way I felt when I made that song, when I wrote that song. That's really kind of how I go about it. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, somehow leave an impact. No, 100%. Somehow where you want the music to leave some kind of an impact, whether it inspires you, whether it makes you happy, excites you, you're questioning yourself. I feel like those are the best ones that kind of evoke an emotion. You're just not like, good music, but you're like, wait, this sounds fucking great, Right.
Yo, yeah.
Yes, that's how I feel. Otherwise, now what's your game plan? How do you plan to go about your stuff? How do you want to get out there?
Honestly, I think about it, but I don't really think about it. Like, I feel like if I just keep doing what I'm doing, and every time there's an opportunity, I go for it, I think this will all just come together when it's supposed to. I don't worry about like, oh, next year I have to do this. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna like. No, it's just like I do it because I love it, and I know I keep getting better as time goes on. So the people that are watching me, it's paying off. Like it's them believing in me and being patient and watching me grow is gonna pay off. And I'm doing it for those people because those people are going to be like, oh, I remember him when you didn't like him and when he sounded like this, but now he sounds like this and everybody loves him. Like, so I see it as just, it's a matter of time. Like, I'm not trying to conform to I'm not going to make Rich the Kid music or Drake's music. I'm going to make my music and it's going to be so good that you will have to listen to it. You'll have to like it because it's so real. It's so me. It's so authentic. It's so good. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And do you have any specifications with what kind of artists you want to work with? When you have vocals and stuff, do you want it to be like super authentic? You want it to be some kind of way before you know?
Explain that one more time.
As in, when you're like, because you're an audio thing, so you obviously need like a vocalist, right? To work with its music. So do you have specifications? Like this is the kind of person I would want to work on because that's how your music would eventually get defined?
Not really, because to answer the question from earlier about how I got into it, I got into it out of necessity. Like I don't record people because I enjoy recording people. I record and I learned how to do all this because it's for me. But it has been an advantage to me to record other people, and I'm glad I have. But that's not what I want to do. Like if I was really, really successful, I wouldn't see myself recording anybody. I would just be recording myself, really. Maybe like my friends from time to time, but that's just not what I want to be doing. Yeah.
So you enjoy your stuff the most, where you're like the lyricist and you're singing and everything.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really interested. Like other people could do their thing, but I'm not interested in really making somebody else's career
Then
happen.
what's your favorite part about the whole process, from like thinking of an idea to getting it out there? Because you don't just record music, you like technically work on it. So what's your favorite part in the whole process?
Good, bro. My favorite part is that's a really tough question. My favorite part is definitely like that playback. Like you record it and you hear how it's supposed to sound, and you're like, okay, now let's just like tweak this and turn this up a little bit. Let's make the beat a little bit louder. Let's make the vocal, like add some reverb or delay to the vocal, and then you finally hit enter and you start it from the top, and you get that like you finally hear it the way you know it's supposed to sound. That's 1,000% the best part. The best part.
And how long do you think it takes you from like recording a music to finishing it? Like how long is that process?
Like finishing, or just like that first listen back?
I think finishing.
It feels like music's never finished. Like every song I've ever released, I feel like I could do more. Honestly.
That is every artist, never feel like their craft is perfect. But like give me a tentative thing, like your last song or something that you finally produced.
I worked on this song. If I had worked on it every single day, it probably would have been like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. But it took me like 2-3 weeks to like pretty much finish the song. Like it sounds good. It sounds the way I want it to. Because it's like, for me, I'll listen to something and then I'll sleep. Like I'll just go to sleep. And then I'll wake up, and by the next morning, if I play it and I feel the same way or even stronger than I felt last night, then I'll keep going. And I'll be like, okay, like this is good.
A lot of hours goes into like just one like 2-3 minute song, that means.
It's crazy.
And what's your inspiration while writing? Do you like to write about like real life stuff, that what's happening with you? Or are you somehow trying to make it catchy and sound fun? What's your vibe?
It's like a little bit of both. Like I definitely do incorporate my real life, but for the most part I pick beats that like draw something out of me. Like I don't just rap to whatever beat. So yeah, I'll kind of draw inspiration from what's going on around me, or maybe a conversation I had. Like I might write about you today. I don't know. I don't know.
That would be cool as fuck.
If I do, I'll send it to you.
For sure,
but,
you have to.
About that, be about people. Sometimes it'll just be about things of a girl that like is from the past, a girl that I'm talking to, a girl that I want to talk to, or sometimes it's just like really anything. It depends. But sometimes I do keep in mind like one song. I was like, let's try to write a sad song. Like I actually just thought that was this one song, Live. I don't know if you know that song.
No, I really tried to listen to your music on your Instagram page, but I wasn't sure which one was yours or which one was someone else, because I would see a lot of people tagged in, and I wasn't sure if there was your music. I could not get a lot of clarity from it. My bad. But I tried.
No, that's alright. Yeah, this song called Live.
Live. I see.
Yeah.
Tag me on Instagram so I can look
at my bio. It's like 500.
It's called Live. Is it up on YouTube?
Yeah.
YouTube. Okay, and you go by the name of Baby Goblin?
Baby Globin.
Globin. Sorry.
Everybody says Goblin. I understand. It's Globin.
I'm sorry. But I did watch a lot of your videos, and they were so well produced, but I was so impressed because so many people want to be like in the music business and stuff, but you were an executor, like you're working on stuff, whether it's writing, whether it's producing, whether it's posting on Instagram and stuff. And you get a lot of engagement, people really vibe with it. So that's amazing.
I really appreciate that. It's crazy to hear that. It's nuts.
No, 100%, because I was connecting with a lot of artists. I love music so much. I wish I could sing and share. But there was one of the artists I spoke with. He's like a SoundCloud rapper. And then he told me, when we were just having this conversation, he said, oh my God, you make such a great A&R. And I said, what's that? And he told me, artists and relationships. Because I was just hyping you up. I was like, you can do it. And what I felt, no matter how good your music is, you have to learn at the end of the day how to market it. It's a business. Because there's always going to be like a better singer, a better producer. But if you can't get your stuff out there to people, hard work beats talent, no matter how great of a voice you have, but if you don't work hard to get your shit out there, no one cares. And that's how I was looking at your stuff. And once you texted me, I looked at your shit and I was like, this looks good, it generally looks like a lot of hours have gone into it. It looks very finished. It's not like, you just put a phone up and you're just recording shit. But it was generally like good shit, so like props to you, man. It's amazing.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank
So one of the questions we ask everyone on the podcast, because we don't know them, and you feel free to ask questions to me as well, which was, are you happy?
That's it? That's it?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you?
Yeah. It's a yes and a no.
Okay.
Why would you
explain.
say? Why would you say yours is a yes?
Why would I say mine is a yes?
And it took you a while to say yes.
I mean, that's a heavy question.
Yeah, that's why it's interesting.
I'm happy for sure, just because I know I don't like. Okay, I'll just show you this, and
Okay.
this is literally just. I want to be transparent. It's just strictly just for inspiration.
Yeah.
So this, do you see this? This is like $100,000 watch. Now, the one that I have on is a $40 watch. It's fake.
Yeah.
But the whole point is
Yeah.
that every time I wear it and I
Yeah.
look at it,
Yeah.
it's to remind me that this is going to be real. And it's when people notice it,
Yeah.
it's not for me to say, oh, yeah, this is nice and real. It's for me
Yeah.
to say, yeah, it's fake, but I'm getting a real one. This is to remind me that. And just to remind me to work hard and to not forget why I started, and that it's
Yeah.
not about the money. It's just that I'm blessed to be able to walk and hear and talk.
Yeah.
And the fact that I have friends and you
Yeah.
that care about my music, care about me and what I have to say.
Yeah.
Like, so many people don't have that. They have so much less than I have. And the fact that I have these resources and that I have the mental ability to just use them to my advantage,
Yeah.
like, that's so much more than I could ever ask for. Like, and I recognize that. So I have no reason to not be happy. Like, even when everything's going bad, like,
Yeah.
I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have nothing to complain about.
That is so. I cannot tell you what that means to me. I have it's a diamond studded Rolex, and it's obviously a fake one. Yeah. And I would always wear it, and it would always bring a smile to my face because of the same reason. It's so many times. Why? Because for people it's very pretentious and like very materialistic and all that stuff. But for me, it's so much about so many times. Good is good enough. Like we're good. Like you said, you can walk, you can breathe. We're doing our stuff on social media. Sometimes it gets attraction. We're talking to each other. It's fun. But then there's a whole new level, which is great. And that represents greatness to me, And it's not so much about the watch, but it was so much about I became the person who could afford the watch, And I saw so many people, I looked up to so many people, and that was a trophy, like I made it, like I did it. And I would always and it was so funny, like I looked at your watch, it's crazy, So I completely get it. It's crazy. I'll show it to you, but it's in my room right there.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Should I show you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just you let it give me 1 second. I come back.
I'm here. That's nuts. I'm not alone. You're never alone. There's always somebody who feels the way you feel, who's felt the way you felt.
Can you see it?
Oh, that is mean. That looks good. Let me see on your wrist.
And you can't really tell it's a copy. Obviously, you can tell because of the fucking diamonds and shit. But it looks pretty good.
That's fire. That's so funny. I can't believe you do the same thing. That's awesome.
I know. You told me and I just couldn't stop smiling. I'm like, oh my god. It's crazy. It really is so much about, manifestation and things. And it sounds very shady, but for me, it's like, if you're looking at something every day for a watch, right? For a long time, it's a matter of time when it doesn't feel so far off. When I'm looking at, who Eliante is?
Mm-hmm.
Right? His shit, it's so amazing. I love jewelry. So there was a time when everyone was like, for me it was like, that's for them, not for me. But with things like that, you actually start to understand, that they were no different than who I am, And it's no point comparing my level 1 to their level 10. You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
So
Preach.
I cannot believe it. I used to think it's so stupid, but it's very special to me. It would always make me smile. No matter where I am, I'm like, I got this.
Yeah, you're so right. 100%. It's crazy. Wow.
Crazy.
See, you're not alone.
It really is. Oh my god, that was hilarious. So one other thing, I was saying about being happy, right? Happiness is it's a big yes for me because obviously I'm so grateful and shit, and the fact that I even have the opportunity to chase my dreams and stuff. But it was a no because for a long time I was feeling that I have so much in me, and I'm not able to. I wouldn't say execute on it, but it wasn't blossoming into something, Like people have music, so you can work on their music. If you're a business person, you can work on your business. If you're a dancer, you can dance or whatever. But for me, I wasn't so sure what is it that I bring to the table. And I took a long, long time to just educate myself about the business, about culture, from GaryVee, from books, and so and so. And I felt like now it's my time to just go out in the world and somehow translate myself into my some sort of craft. You know what I'm saying? Like all your thoughts and who you are translates to music, and there's a product which you share to the world. I cannot imagine anything being more satisfying and fulfilling than that. And I feel like that is where I found a hole in myself, where I felt like there's so much in me, and I felt like I was in a box. And I feel like that is why moving to LA was a very important decision. But I was like, I just gotta throw myself into the world and see, where I kind of tap my talents or whatever.
No, 100%. That makes sense. I mean, you're doing it right now with the podcast.
Yeah. It is happening, but LA has been very crazy. It needs so much paperwork to make it out there. The cross country thing. And I just thought, you just need to have money and this and that, but no shit. Like, you can have all the money you want, but there's still people who need to get your fucking paperwork done.
Yeah.
And that's just been stressing me out, but this is just part of the process. So I'm just hanging in there and doing my shit.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, no, it's gonna come together for you. Like you're going crazy right now. You're up at what you said, midnight? Yeah, you're up at midnight.
Yeah. Working
on your podcast, doing your thing. Like there's no way you can lose, bro. Like, you're good.
Thank you, man. That means a ton. So because most of the people who come on the podcast, we don't know them. And the next question I'll come to is, what's your story?
What's my story? I mean, I feel like we talked about it. I don't know.
But still, you could talk about one of the most important moments in your life. Like, you as a person, what kind of shaped you and things like that.
Wow. That's tough. That's like such a loaded question. Maybe, well, I grew up in like a nice neighborhood, I'm not rich. I had like 5 other siblings, so there's 6 of us.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey, like Maplewood, New Jersey. Yeah, like we weren't rich. My mom's like a nurse. My dad did like a lot of different things. He was like worked for the post office, worked for like the airport. He was like the manager of Taco Bell. Like he did mad stuff.
Yeah.
I started playing the guitar when I was like maybe like 10ish, something like 5th grade. I started playing the guitar, and then went to middle school. That was cool. I started skating in middle school. In high school, I was still skating. Skating kept me out of like a lot of trouble. It kept me busy. It kept me active, and I didn't do that well in school. College. Well, right after I graduated, that was when I started dating this girl.
Okay.
Her. Gosh, we'll just call her. I went to California because I was skating and like I just won a contest, like a pretty big contest. I won first place, and not big contest, but anyway, yeah, I won first place. I was like, yo, I feel like I can really do this. Like, I feel like I need to go to California because that's like where everybody who skates goes. So I was like, go to California and just like live there and just do my best, like go as hard as I can and just see what happens with skating. And so I was out there, I was skating, that was cool. I didn't go to school, but I was still dating her. And so I was there for like 3 months, not a crazy long time, but it was, tough for her. It was tough for me too, but like it was like significant. It was very, very tough for her.
Because you guys were in other cities.
Yeah, so it was like every night was like this. Like I would FaceTime, like a lot of tears, a lot of why did you do this? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But and then came home, and that was cool. I came home, and maybe like a couple months after I came home, my dad passed away.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, that passed away, and then that was when I started going to school for nursing. Me and her broke up at the end of the year. That was when I started to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I got something to say. And that was when I really started the music. I mean, that was just like timestamps. Like, they're like, obviously there's more to my life, but like,
those were like the defining moments.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. That's crazy to say. I almost hate looking back on it, just because it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't wish that stuff on anybody. I wouldn't wish what I've been through to anybody, even if it doesn't sound that bad to you or to somebody else. Like,
no, you can't compare someone's pain.
Like, the last song I actually posted on Instagram, I actually talk about just like a little bit of just what I've been through. Not like super duper in detail, but it's just like, bro, like, if you try to take a walk in my shoes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't go through what you've gone through. You couldn't go through what I've gone through. And it's obvious because you're you and I'm me. Like, you know, we each have our own set of like obstacles and difficulties that we have to get through. But like, it's crazy. But you're blowing my mind though. Like, with the whole, like, you're going to Cali and you're just making that happen with the podcast. Like, it's dope. It's really, really dope to see you like really do this.
Thank you, man. It's been a long process, I feel all of us go through our shit, but I just see it as these are the cards you dealt with, now what? And like, it might sound so cheesy, but I truly believe, it's 20% of what happens to you, 80% what you make out of it, So whether you let your adversities define you, like, woe is me and how unfair is life, and I wish I did not have this, then I would have done something. Or whether you take that with you, that wait, this is my strength, the fact that I was actually able to go through these intense moments. So nothing small is now going to shake me up, Someone saying no to my music, someone saying it's fucking trash, me hearing no's every single time because I've been through worse, and look at me, you emerge victorious. And you taking adversities and translating them into, your music, which is your strength. Translating them into, you honing your skills. That the fact that you went through a breakup, so it was like, wait, I want this to somehow be creative where I can share that with other people, And I feel like what's especially amazing about, being an artist, where you have a craft which other people can, it's a form of communication, with your audience. And so many people go through shit, but then they might not have homies with them, like you seem to have a good couple of friends. But there are people who might not even have that, So music helps them, like I heard this in another music video, which I love. It said that, we're all connected by sound, Sometimes you feel so close to an artist. You're like, oh my God, if we knew each other, we would be best friends. But, that's how you connect. And that is what's so amazing, So every difficulty I see that a person goes through, it really strengthens and defines your character more and more, You have more depth as a person, like this is what I went through, and now if you see anyone else going through a similar situation, you can be there for them, you can be their strength instead of thinking, why me?
Dude, that is literally why I feel like I'm still alive. Like, I feel like my life has no purpose besides like going through what I've gone through, just to show people that like yo, like you said, like it's okay, like you're gonna get through it. And guess what, I felt like that before. You're not alone. And it's just to show like, because I know I'm gonna be successful, and I hope you are too, but I know I'm gonna be successful. And it's just that when that happens, I'm glad that people will be able to look back at this podcast and be like, oh, he had 560 followers. He had 560 followers. And now look at him. And I know his story. Like, I'm nothing special. I'm completely ordinary. Anybody who is a working, healthy human being, just like me, can do anything I've done. 100%. 100%. Like,
Yeah,
So
which is so cool, you know. I think one of the biggest reasons for me to start this podcast was that, irrespective of how different we are, you know, like me, fucking being from India and shit, English is my second language, and so many other kids as well. Like, irrespective of how different we are, you know, how similar all of us are internally, you know. Like, all of us go through relationships, financial problems, health. You know, we struggle with happiness and family issues, right? These are like the five basic shit. So instead of looking at how different all of us are, you know, we see how similar all of us are, you know. So both you and I, both of us are in our, I wouldn't say struggling, but you know, in our process of, you know, making something of ourselves, you know, in the process of figuring ourselves out. So irrespective of how different we are, we connect on this, you know. So when you
exactly.
are going through a hard time, I can be there. When I'm going through a hard time, you can be there. You know, that's kind of, so the podcast is called Building Community. So basically, this was what the community was all about, you know? Like, you're not alone, you know? There's so many people like you. Some might have it worse, some might have it better, but irrespective, all of us are in this together, you know?
Yeah.
For me, I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people who go through... No, 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 please continue.
So I was gonna say, yo, your English is so good.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, wait, so, like, how did you like get so good at it? You just practice it a lot, or like?
No, I think from a very early age, at least in India, like here in schools and stuff, if you cannot speak in English properly, somehow it's really looked down upon. And my parents did not speak in English, right? So we were not speaking English. So we were bullied at school, like, you know, like, hey, look at you, you can't speak and shit. And we were super young, you know, I was in maybe the third or fourth grade and stuff. And that's how my dad would drop my sister on a scooter, you know, from her school to the English tuition classes, you know, for years. And then we just started watching a lot of English movies and TV shows, and music was the biggest thing. And I feel like that's where we picked it up, where we stopped listening to any kind of music and we just vibed with, I guess, you know, it was Pussycat Dolls, Cassie, and 50
Wow.
Cent, and Linkin Park, and these kind of things. And we would always try to sing along. So I feel like with practice, that's how we picked up our shit. And we just got way better than anyone else combined here. So
That's so wild, yeah. Wow. And then I want to hear about your. Well, I have to find a charger soon because my phone's gonna die.
Okay.
But I want to hear about your relationship stuff. Talk to me
Really?
about some of the things you've been through.
relationship stuff.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. I've actually never been in a relationship
Okay.
because when I actually was like, you know, 15, 16, when we all started to make friends and stuff, I became friends with all of my sister's friends, and she was 6 years older to me. So that's what our clique became. And somehow we would always, you know, go to clubs and do these things where my age kids, it was, you know, what the big people did, but then we were in the scene first. So I was the cool kid and things like that. But somehow in the circle, I was always someone's younger sister, you know? So no one really took me seriously. And I feel like when you're hanging with a lot of older people, somehow you get a little more mature. And it became very difficult to relate with the other kids. And I could never date someone who was really, really older to me. Like, you know, we would chill and stuff, but, you know, dating
Yeah.
was never a thing.
Oh, you guys would chill.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh my god.
gotcha.
You know.
Okay.
So I guess that was what it was about. And then when I really started to get into my shit, which was, I feel like, just 2-3 years ago, you become so
Yeah.
intense when you're working, you know, when you have goals. And it's not like other people don't have goals, but for me, it was really intense. You know, it was like a very ride or die situation. And a lot of people here are, you know, going to college and again, things like that. For me, I dropped out of college and this was my full time thing. So it became really hard to relate with people, and I was so paranoid about my shit, you know? Like, this always came first more than anyone else. And I feel like for boys and stuff, it was always very, I wouldn't say distracting, but like, I love everyone I meet. But when it actually gets down to it, I mean, it's never really been like I like someone like that. Like I love everyone. I'm like I love you, but you know it never goes down to, you know, like dating. I feel.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not.
So nothing
I hear
special.
I hear you. What about That's crazy because I mean I'm sure you know this. Like you have rings on your ring fingers, right? On both your ring fingers.
Yeah. I love jewelry,
What?
so that's what it's about.
What, You have 8 other fingers to choose from. Why are they your ring finger?
Because I actually really love this. So this is my mom's, and this is actually a real like a baguette thing.
Wow.
And actually, it was Christmas, so we were going out to parties and stuff. So I just took it. I got my nails done and stuff, and I just love wearing rings. So I was like, fuck it. It was vibing with whatever we were going. Well, you thought I'm married and shit. What the fuck?
I was like, Dad, your husband just let you talk to this random stranger from.
Are you kidding me? No.
I
Also,
don't know.
other of my fingers are kind of like
so insecure.
have a big bone, and this one's the only one that actually goes in. So that's another one.
Gotcha.
Yes. Sorry, you were saying something.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, no. Some guys are just so insecure. Like they would like freak out if they like had a girlfriend that was doing what you do.
Yeah, different types of people. I feel like for me, I would really, really respect. For me, at least, I would love a person who's as ambitious and even more ambitious than I am. But they would really respect they don't really like how I look or whatever. I don't look great. Like not most beautiful. Anyway, beauty's subjective. But I feel like I would want someone to be attracted to me for my mind, how I look at life, my perspective on things. And I feel like so many times it does not get down to that, And that is something that's irreplaceable. So I feel like they would rather have a lot of respect for that.
That's a fact, yeah. Because people. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 20. I just turned 20.
No way! Oh my god!
Wait, how old are you?
I thought you were either like 32
30?
or 28.
What?
No, that's like a good thing. Just because you're like mature and like you're so calm and like well put together. Like I was like, because girls that are my age that are 20,
yeah,
the last thing they're thinking about is chasing their dreams and having a podcast. These girls are getting drunk. They're sleeping with anybody that they can find. Like they're doing everything but being focused. So it's like I literally, bro, I can't even have a shorty in my life right now just because I know they is on such a different wavelength than I am.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, cause like, ready? So you saw like on my Instagram, there's like that room with the stars in the ceiling.
Right.
Any girl my age just be like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, this is my boyfriend. Look at where he is. Like, and it's like, bro, that's not at all. Like, I'm just so not about the flashy stuff. Like, I don't want to be known for that stuff. Like, but that's what people over here are obsessed with. Like, being popular, being cool, fitting in, and just having fun. But it's like, there's more to life than that. Like, you're going to grow up one day.
Yeah. I feel like a very big advantage for me was when I was actually 15, 16, already had done and dusted that shit, we were actually going to really like we were kind of well to do and stuff, so all the friends and the group was likewise, so we weren't going to like these cheap ass fucking clubs, we were actually going to really good places, and you'd actually seen it, it was every Saturday night thing that we had here, and it was very, very cool and fun in the beginning, but then it just gets old, it's the same fucking people in the rotation. And so now when people grow up, when now it's like college time, that's what they want to do, they want to be free and they want to drink and they want to do stuff, once you actually do that, you don't feel like you're missing out on something. So if I'm actually not going to places, I know that, there's so much more to things like that, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not interested in it. There's a lot more life to live. My organs, I eat unhealthy already. I don't need to be drinking and smoking.
I feel about girls like that, I've heard that all the time, but I feel like so many times they might do it to fit in, but if you actually, when you're speaking with a girl, right, irrespective of what image you have of her, when you're speaking with her, you speak to her, like her as a human being. If you start off with the right questions, like, hey, what was the highlight of your day? Or, are you happy? I know it's so cheesy, but, what's your story? They would actually open up to you as a person. They wouldn't have to feel like, I need to act cool for you to like me, that kind of a thing. So
it's like one or the other. It's either like, okay, cool, they're trying to fit in, or like you said, when you get somebody one-on-one like this, that's when you start to really get to know somebody. But a lot of people, I don't know if it's like that, like where you're from, but over here, especially my age group, they're just mean. Like they're rude. Like you'll be like, "Oh hey, how you doing?" They'll be like, "Fine." It's like, like we can have a conversation. Like this doesn't have to be that. Most people just assume that you want something from them, but Anyway, but to answer your question, how old do you think I am?
You said people your age 20, so I guess like 22?
Yeah, I talk too much. I'm 21.
21, right? So the same age group, right? Another thing I heard from Gary was actually it's the norm to be cool where you're like you can't sit with us and you see that shit in movies, but now you become the cool thing where you're like being kind is cool, and it might sound fucking cheesy, but I feel like it's true. I'd rather be around someone who's really fun to be around. Where I feel comfortable, where I know that they won't insult me and judge me. That person's cool for me rather than a person who actually insults everyone except their own clique. So irrespective of how people are with you, if you keep on persisting with that, I don't care how you are, I'm kind and I'm fun and that's cool for me, they'll gravitate towards that and let their guards off and actually be like, no one likes to be mean. It kind of crushes your soul from the inside, I feel like.
100%. I agree. Wow.
So would you have any questions for me?
What was that?
Would you have any questions for me?
Oh, I want to ask you so much.
Please.
Let's see. I want to hear like your life story. I mean, you don't have to go through it. I'll ask you like certain questions, and then I'll just let you fill in the blanks. So do you have like any brothers or sisters?
I do have an elder sister.
An older sister. Yes, I remember. Yeah, you just said that.
Yes.
Okay, you said she's 6 years older than you.
5.5, 6. Yeah.
Okay, what's her name?
Her name's Radhika.
Radhika?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I didn't say that right.
No, you said absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are your parents like?
They're actually really, really amazing, and I feel like it's just been 2-3 years where I was very consciously aware of the advantage I had because of my parents. Something that was super great about them was they were very they never had a chip on their shoulder, where they wanted to represent us as someone. We were just their kids. We weren't kids that they wanted to show off. We weren't kids that they wanted their dreams to get fulfilled through us. They really, really worked hard. I feel like both of my parents lost my dad lost his mom and his father at a very early age, so he grew up like this. He had to take care of his grandmother, and he had to give up a lot of his dreams because he had his grandmother to take care of. And my mom also lost her father when she was in the 10th grade or something. And that's how these guys grew up, and a lot of adversity, but happy, hardworking families. And they came from very, very, very humble beginnings. And today they've actually really made something of themselves, and they're so perfect for each other, which I really admire. And how they brought us up, where they actually really sacrificed a lot of shit to bring us up, to the people who they were very proud of. And they've been very, very open about what I want to do because it's unheard of. Like in the Asian culture, if your kids say that they're not going to college, they're getting thrown out of the fucking house.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear you say that
crazy.
and still see you in a house.
I feel like I really, really educated myself on what I wanted to do, and they have a lot of confidence in my judgment, and they really respect what I want to do. So that's been super, I guess, liberating and amazing, That's been my biggest advantage.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how, this is kind of personal, but just like, how do you survive? Like, do you have like a job? Like, do your parents kind of like help you on that? Like, what's your, like, how are you going about your daily life right now?
So I'm 20. And I'm on the payroll 100%, until I move out. So, moving out really is not like a cultural thing. In Asia, you live with your parents for the rest of your fucking life. But because I wanted to move to LA and stuff, and I did not go to college, so I said that the funds that you have saved for college for me, I want to utilize them where I actually need them. And that's how the LA thing is going to happen for that time.
Wow, that's so crazy. I was trying to tell my mom that. She was like, you should go to school for music. I was like, Mom, I already do music. Like, why would I go to school for it?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, just pay for my studio time or just pay for this that has to do with music. She was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, because she thinks, like, school is, like, the end-all, be-all. Like, if you go to school, you'll be prepared for the world. It's like, that's just not reality right now, like,
Yeah, I feel like, that also comes from a genuine place of love for my parents. It takes a lot to, just let go of your kid and do whatever you want. Because sometimes actually we. Might be super impulsive. There are kids who like just watch a YouTube video, like, I dropped out of school, now I'm a millionaire, and they believe that shit. So, a lot of parents really kind of, it comes from a position of love. And so many
Nah,
people don't have that to, even take care of that. So I feel like that's okay. If you're going to college, there's so much that a person misses out on when they don't go to fucking college, like the people you meet, and it's genuinely like the craziest experience of your life. So it's super good. You can still go to college and still do shit.
that's true. I don't know. I'm still, just thinking it over. I have a lot to think about.
Are you currently going to college?
What was that?
Are you currently going to college?
Not right now. Like I have like one more semester, and then I graduate, and I'll have like an associate's, like a 2-year degree.
I see. So
Yeah.
one of the biggest things Gary talks about, which I genuinely picked up on, was
Yeah.
people are the biggest ROI, irrespective of where you're from. And I feel like that's why my podcast became very important to me, because now I wasn't going to school, I wasn't going to college, I was just in my room. How do I network? How do I get to know more people? And this was my way through. And for you who's actually going to college, if you actually forget about how people are mean, forget about how they want to be cool. But if
Yeah.
you actually really develop your social skills and a lot
Yeah.
of confidence, so even if you get rejected, like, you might say hi, and the person's like, who are you talking to? You still don't take that personally. You're like, I hope you're in a good place one day to realize what this actually could mean for us. But if there are 100 kids in your fucking college and stuff, 5% of them are gonna be amazing people in their lives, career wise, business wise. So if you have a good relationship with them, that's always gonna be so beneficial for you. Like the biggest thing about college is the people. So if you become a person, like I'm gonna be a person who's friends with everyone, generally, where you're adding some kind of value or you have some sort of relationship with them. I feel like
Yeah.
that could be like super big for you.
Nah, you're right. You're right. It definitely is. I mean, it's tough no matter what. No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm in school or not.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. That's why I'm thinking about it. I have some thinking to do.
Yeah, whatever situation you're at, you have to make the best of it. So now if you're going to college, there's so much advantage. Going to college, utilize all, like squeeze the shit out of this opportunity.
Yeah. 100%.
Otherwise, as soon as you go out of college, you'll have to make so much effort to even like, have a real conversation with another person. I have to DM like 50 people to get like 4 people to say yes. And 2 of the people always cancel. So that's how I get 2 people to actually do a fucking podcast.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
difficult.
No, it's like that. I was in the same thing when I reached out to you. It's like you reach out to like 100 people and you get like maybe 7 responses.
Yeah.
And maybe like 5 of them actually like your music, if you're lucky.
Yeah. So it was also not so much about people just listeners, but what if like this person, one of the people, in your fucking college runs Hollywood or runs a big ass label. But if they remember that you said hi to them when no one else said hi to them, that'll always stay with them. So the relationship, your intent. So if your intent is good, which is to generally forge a good relationship with people, it'll always come out nice. And fuck
Yeah.
people if they're trying to be cool, You be the cool kid who's just like super high and full of like good energy and happy. And you can just make that cool,
Yeah. Nah, I'm seeing that already. Just with what I'm already doing. Like, that's really the best way to move around and meet people. Just be yourself. Just treat everybody the same.
Yes, 100%. So what would you say your end goal is? I know you said you don't have super specific goals, but like what would you say, what would your dream, like the most ideal case scenario if everything works out the way you want it to? Where would you want to be?
I want to be in a position to talk to people and to help people by like, I don't know about like kind of like a money help, because I don't think money is like really a help. But I think in your mentality, just like kind of like what we said, just about how like it's 20% what happens to you and 80% how you react to it. Like that's if I could just tell people how much power we actually have in our lives, like
Yeah.
we don't have power really over anything in this life, but we have one power over one thing, and it's like our superpower. And it's, you have the power to make a choice. Like I could choose right now to hang this. I could choose to say, hey, delete this, don't use it. I could choose to have never reached out, but in the same token, I could also choose to give you the best interview ever and to keep up with you after this and make sure, oh, hey, how's LA? You know, all this stuff. And it's like the same way you get faced so many different situations in life, but all that matters is how you handle it. Like that kid that you say hi to, that kid could choose to say, no, get on my face, I want to talk to you. Or they could be like, hey.
Yeah.
And like you said, and it can turn into who knows what.
Yeah.
So just the power that we have as people on a day-to-day basis to always make the right decision. And that's what I feel confident. Like that's where my confidence comes from. And like this crazy music stuff that really doesn't work for most people. The reason I feel like it'll work for me is that like no matter what situation comes my way, I'm still going to be me. I know what I want out of life. I know that I want to give back to people. I know that when I get there, that mission isn't going to change, and it'll all just come when I'm ready, you know? So
I was actually reading an article, I believe it was written by Forbes, where it said that GaryVee is a rapper's best friend. You know, where he would see a lot of talent, but he is actually a marketer and he's really, really good at what he does. And he's actually, I feel like I'm good at reading people. Generally, this is one of the few things I'm really good at. And he's generally a person who's good intent, you know. So if he's even putting out content, it comes from a very good place where he wants you desperately to be successful, you know. And you as a person are so wise and super amazing to even speak with, you know. And I feel like so many people would just love to, you know, interact with you, and they'll gravitate towards you as a person, you know, because you don't get wavered easily from your authenticity, like you said, you know. So for you to make content and stuff is going to be amazing. You know, something I learned from Gary was that you'll always find a better photographer, you'll always find a better dancer, you'll always find a better musician. But what really makes people stay, like he says, is the brand, is who you are as a person, you know. So if I fuck with you, there might be a better audio engineer than you, but I'm gonna pick you because I vibe with you and I love you, you know? You know what I'm saying? So that's where content actually plays such a huge part. Once you start making content, people will love you, who you are as a person, even if there's always gonna be a better or worse person than you. And I feel like that will really play out in your favor.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, because I learned that this year, and I'll tell my friends that like, I am not the best artist. I'm not the best engineer. I'm not the most handsome guy in the world. Like, I'm not the most anything. I'm the most average person, literally.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's like, but I know who I am on the inside. And I know I've never met a single person that is quite like me. I've met a lot of great people, and I have incredible friends, but it's like, that's why, bro, I don't trip over the people that meet me and don't like me, whatever, because I'm me, like 24/7. I know who I am. I know what I want out of I know who the person I want to be. I know who I am, and I know what I want out of this life. And it's like, I'm just always just like, it's just kind of like a take it or leave it kind of thing. Like, same thing with like that helped me with even the relationship. Just like, yeah, you know, when you like really like somebody and something happens, you're like, oh my gosh, like I should have done this, I should have done that. Maybe if I just said this, or if I just waited on that, then maybe this. But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, bro, I'm a cat. Like, I'm wavy, I'm fire, and I know that. So it's really just like, the person that realizes that is like, it's gonna be like mutual. Like I was saying to myself yesterday, like, the person that I end up with, like, rain or shine, I could be so mad at them. They could break my phone. They could do this, do that. I'll know, like, I'm with the right person when, no matter what, every single day I can say, I'm so thankful to, like, have you in my life. And I feel that way about my friends, too. Like I may not talk to my friend for months, or they might do something weird or say something weird, but it's like, if I can still at the end of the day say, nah, but like that's my bro, like I love him, da da da, like then it's like, that's what counts, you know? Because everybody makes mistakes. Boyfriend, girlfriend,
100%.
parents,
Yeah.
sister, brother. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like you making content would be so huge. And for a person, you sound like you have amazing friends. And the guy I saw a little glimpse of it, he seems fun, and I love how you guys vibe together. It's a very good thing on screen. So even if you guys just hit record and start documenting your process, something Gary really picks up on. I'm sorry I keep bringing it up because he's been a person
yeah.
who's moved me from my head to actually doing shit. And if you listen a lot of him for a long, long time, it really registers in your head. What are you trying to do? So it's not so much about how many followers I have, but it's about who is following me. So I might not have a lot of followers,
Amen.
but I have a lot of interesting people who are on the lookout on what I am doing. Who well wishers, and who them myself be super successful. And they'll remember the kind of relationship I built with them. That is something for me, and I learned that from him. So even if you guys start documenting your process, just hit record and start recording shit. Like, this is what's up. I'm thinking of a song right now. This is what we're doing. We're just chilling. This is how we chill. People love that shit. It's like a reality TV that you start to create. You as an audio engineer, but the biggest thing is gonna be you as a person. And trust me, I love you. We just spoke for like an hour, and people will love you. You have good energy in you. Trust me, people love that shit.
Thank you.
I
really.
genuinely believe you should start recording and put a lot of content out there so people can get to pick up on who you are as a person. That'll really play out super good.
Yeah, this year I'm really, really trying to, because I do have a lot of footage. I actually do. We're actually filming today, just like filming what we're doing, what's going on.
Really?
But
wow.
Yeah, because I realized that this year too. Like I really gotta show people everything. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We're definitely gonna do it, and I want to put out more content.
Yeah, you could film a whole story about your watch and be like, guys, this is what's up. And from so many years from now, so many months from now, I'm calling it right now. This is going to turn into a reality. And when it actually turns into a reality, this is going to be legendary, Trust me,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100% right. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm super excited, man. I'm excited to see everything that happens with you.
Thank you, man. We keep in touch. You know what? If you stop making content and stuff, we can stop making content together. And something I really am into, where we do a very genuine collaboration, where my audience gets to know you and your audience gets to know me. And we start flipping each other's followers, That is super big.
You should, if you can chop this up into little minute sections.
Yeah.
Where it's just we just have, I'll post it up, you post it up, I'll tag you, all that stuff.
Yeah, I 100% I'll do this for this. But I remember I read this on an article or somewhere that it takes for you to see something 7 times. That is when you register it. It's something about frequency, like when you're watching an advertisement or a billboard. Once you watch it 7 times, that's when it registered. So when my podcast went really good with people, we really tried to, first of all, keep up with each other, and then really consciously make an effort to do some sort of collaborative content where we post each other. So our audience is very aware of us, that, okay, these are both of them working hard towards their shit, and, we get to witness it or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And it really works out pretty good.
It's fire. I'm about to just take a screenshot and post this up. Alright, cool. Got it. Yeah, so just post that up. It's a vibe. Wow. But yeah, my phone is right about it. It's at 4%.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You were amazing.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, you're an absolute pleasure. I really appreciate it.
So once I edit it, I'll send you the link. It takes me a while to edit. I hate editing, but once I do it, I'll send it to you. We'll do all the Instagram clips, and please keep in touch. We'll keep speaking on how we can work together in the future. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. See you.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Bye.